Hello again, Max here speaking. In this part of the video, we want to apply this to a different environment with the configuration we exported on the previous video. Now, since I don't have a second environment, what I did on my environment, I did a reset link, a forceful reset, and you see here now there is no maps, nothing assigned. And I will take now my configuration and want to initially set up this environment based on the configuration I exported previously. In order to do that, since you see there is no solutions applied, nothing done on this environment, what I will choose is I apply the solutions and I deploy maps because nothing is deployed yet. Once I selected it, I select the configuration file I created with the last video, and I will start the execution. Now it will try to log in again. It will also storage the token on the local file system, so it doesn't need to do this all the time. And what you see now, it's applying the solutions first, and we have the backend open in the background. So here you can see now whenever I refresh what it's doing. So now it's applying the solutions. Successfully applied the solution. And since it's running in multi-threading, it first, when the environment is not set up yet, it will first initialize the maps. Means initializing happens after you link the environment and apply the solution. When you first enter the map itself, there is a initialization phase happening where it creates default integration keys and fetching them from Dataverse. This is what it's doing in multiple threads. So in a normal case, when you do it manually, you would need to do this one by one. This is running on 10 threads in parallel, so it does 10 maps at the same time. Once all the maps are initialized, it will then move to the next step, to the actual deployment step, where it then takes the maps, checks the version, if it's the latest one, and tries to apply the latest version. After that, it will check what is your target state and then puts it into a running state. Now this one is now moving already into the next stage. Waiting for start to be completed, also in parallel. Now when I go and refresh here in the backend again, we potentially see already some starting. And here, and here. Also here are integration keys applied. what you see here now, it also we was adding a second crew where the target state was stopped, so it keeps them stopped. Also, applying the integration keys, it's first checking what's the current integration keys and then only applies them when it's required to apply them. Also, when you keep the backend open, it will then display you the error messages there as well. If there is an error appearing, there is happening one retry, where it then goes back again, refreshes the table of the map, which is helping in most of the cases, applies the integration keys again, and then it tries to start the map again. If all of that doesn't help, and in a scenario of you had a previous map version running successfully, and the tool will apply a higher version, but the higher version is not working, it will automatically revert back to the working version which you had previously applied. That makes sure that even a tool is running, for example, on a pipeline, it still keeps the map in running state and gives you the error message there. Let's just wait until this is finished. We have already 68 in running state. Here you now see also an error. CDS sales order lines could not find a property named MSDyn line type on CRM sales order details. We can check this manually. What's the reason for this? And here you also see applying map version 1.01 previous template ID. So it does apply the previous template because it errored. Now, the application completed, and it will indicate application stopped with errors. Check the log files. At the end of each run, it will output all the errors which were happening in the run, so you don't need to scroll through all of them in the log file itself. So here it gives you output all errors, and these are the ones which were happening. And there you see then immediately, okay, what was the map which failed, could not find a property, and so on. And from that point, the automation ends. If you have a real error, you still need to go ahead into the UI and check, okay, why is this error happening? It might be, in this case, a field missing on the map version it wanted to apply, where we can have a look now. So it's the CDS sales order lines. Oh, it's all CDS sales order lines, where it had version 2.00 applied. Check again. The map is actually running. A refresh was missing. So if I stop the map again, so we see 1.03. In our configuration we had latest and any publisher, so it would select 2.00 and tries to apply this. If I stop this now manually and try to apply the map with 2.00, I should get the same error message which the tool was giving me. And this is the exact same error. So there is actually a field missing for whatever reason, but if you run into these errors, you would need to fix them on whatever fix is required. Now this is complete now, so I did reset, so we did export the configuration. I did a complete reset, so there were no maps applied, and then I applied the same configuration against the environment with no setup, and you see all the maps are nicely running.